I've tried to record this like 5 times now, and I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. The topic is very, very deeply personal and private to me, but I also know that these are experiences that not only am I having, and because I have come through the other side and have the understandings of the saying, things happen for us, not to us. And that's a really hard thing for somebody who's in pain to hear, which is why I have a really difficult time saying that, because I don't know who's listening all the time. But the card I pulled when I asked, is this not the time? Why can I not seem to get this video right? This is my answer. Step out of your comfort zone. So just to let you all know that I am not comfortable, but I know that I've also been busting at the seams, needing and wanting to talk about this for quite some time now. And when I get the urges and the inspirations and the messages, then they become really overwhelming for me. I gotta just step out of my comfort zone and do that. So this topic is about why we can't get certain people out of our heads and out of our energy fields, even when we're no longer enmeshed or in relationship with them physically. So I'm going to go into some deep and private aspects of my journey. And I'm going to do it carefully because I want to respect and honor the privacy of the others that were involved. So we're winging it here, but let's begin. And all right, we'll bring that up in a minute. I've had experiences twice now. I had an experience where, this was years ago, there was a person that I knew and was, friendly with, but there was a certain point in time, and this is like after knowing them for years, where something clicked, something happened, and suddenly it was as if we were both extremely magnetically attracted to each other, where it was more than just on the physical. There was a lot of psychic senses, that we were both having dreams about each other. It was very mystical, and this person knew things about me in depth that nobody, I mean nobody, would know. These are things that I never spoke about. These aren't things you can find on social media. These are nothing. And suddenly we both it had a spontaneous awakening, like a combust, bam. And it ended up really, for both of us, opening up all of our senses. The world, life just came alive for us both, and opened up all of our channels and our creativity. Actually, a lot of the photography you're seeing behind me was from that time. My creative elements, everything was boom, wide open, wide awake, and senses were just through the roof. And over time, over a few months' time, our giant alter egos came alive. And because we were lifted with this powerful cosmic force, and it's very elevating, and you almost feel like you're on a drug, and you're not. It's crazy. But so then when the egos come online, then there's the triggers, and suddenly you're like hurting each other, not even meaning to, triggering each other deeply, to the point where, with my experience, the other person seemed to, we had this spontaneous awakening together, and then they seemed to like decline and fall back asleep, meaning they were back in the hypnosis of the third dimensional world, the Maya, the illusion. They weren't seeing things from the same perspective I was any longer, and it really pissed me off. It hurt deeply because it was something so new and so intense and so powerful, and I was afraid. So it brought out these more shallow and shadowy parts of myself. I became suddenly very needy and suddenly very scared, and angry, brought up all my rage and my anger, needing to control things. And suddenly I just left, but I couldn't, like that. I mean, I physically left the connection, but energetically and emotionally and mentally, it took many years to finally understand why this person's memory and energy was still in my field. It pissed me off a lot of times because, but at the same time, I developed a strong appreciation for it because I understood that it was part of my awakening and healing, and how I had not been in touch with those depths of myself for a very long time, and not even to the degree of the depths that I have been since. I've come such a long way in the last 5 years. It's almost like a very fast track awakening process. And so I now have deep love and appreciation for this person, not in the needy way, like I need you in my life, but thank you for saving my life. And I've said that to him many times because I was not in a good place. I was not, but prior to that, I played a very good part, and didn't let anybody see. I didn't even see the internal pain and turmoil, and just that I just was not okay. So I recognized that right away, and spent many years alone and really working diligently on my healing. And as you can see, I read the energy, and I'm very, very involved in being present and mindful and aware of my own shadow aspects that come up from time to time. That, because then once after leaving this situation, I guess you could call it a relationship, it was very confusing, to be honest, but it did open my heart deeply to another form of love, and also recognizing that I was not truly loving and honoring myself at the same time, opened my heart up. So even though I had shut down a little bit in anger, and I really lashed out at this person, verbally attacked this person significantly, that's how much anger, and then I was able to see that in myself, like, wow. But on the flip side, I was also able to heal. I had been on a lot of medications prior to that, which I had been trying to get off of for years and wasn't, it was very difficult. Suddenly I was able to just, done. And that was, I think, in a month's time. I handed everything back to my doctor, and the doctors were like, what did you do? And I just said, I'm learning about energy. And I left it at that. But anyway, it changed my life. It saved my life, truly. And of course, going through the dark night of the soul, going to the depths of yourself, and it's really a death. It is truly a death of this false sense of self, this false ego or overinflated ego, which is really a protective mechanism that had been developed for the course of my lifetime for myself. But learning the shadow parts of myself, and that, I don't want to be needy on another. I want to be I want self-love, self-reliance, self-control for sure, and to really co-create with spirits. So anyway, I learned a lot in the course of the last 5 years after leaving that situation. And, you know, going through the ups and downs of it, there were times where I was like, can we please, I'd like to have a real relationship with a person, with another, because I was getting in touch with myself and my heart and my physical senses. I am a trauma survivor of sexual abuse as a child. Not to the degree of some, but I was just exposed to things that really rattled me, and I'm very energetically sensitive. So growing up, I didn't let anybody touch me. For someone to give me a hug was painful for me, and even as a child, and I didn't understand it, but that's just how I was. So needless to say, I haven't really had too many intimate, touchy-feely relationships in my 51 years of life, and that's another thing that this person did open me up to, and I was very comfortable. And that was probably one of the hardest things for me to leave, because I was just learning about like how I could be comfortable being vulnerable and letting somebody else physically touch me, kiss or just touch me. I mean, I used to like feel people coming up behind me. I'm like, yeah, that was my life before. So really healing through a lot of trauma. So fast forward, I learned a lot. I mean, I didn't recognize or understand all of these parts within me prior to having this encounter with person A, let's just say. So fast forward to this year, and we all know I don't know how many I'm speaking to. I'm thinking it's just YouTube, but I don't know where I'm sharing this all to. We're going through an evolutionary process of awakening humanity. Of course, it's not going to be every single person, but there are many, many, many souls out there having the same experiences. And this is why I want to share what I've gone through and what I understand, how I understand and know why we have these encounters now. And it actually is a beautiful thing once you get past your own pain body, the painful parts, because it is not easy at all. It is very painful. It will open up every single deep nook and cranny wound that you ever encountered in your life, and in order for you to heal. And I know for myself, there were times where I tried to run and hide and numb that stuff out, because it's just way, way, way too intense and too much. But you can only do that for so long before you really surrender to it, which I have for quite some time. So fast forward to this year. Ironically, yet there is nothing ironic on this journey at all. I don't believe in coincidences or anything. The same date, the same month and date, and this didn't even hit me until after the fact, that I had this spontaneous awakening with person A, which did include intimate touch and connection. This year, same date, same month, same everything. Another person that I knew not as well, and the energy was quite different, I will say that, came into my world, came to my home, came into my world, and I was not even fully aware of what was going on, but I felt the energetics. I could feel there was this pull, and I recognized that. And being alone and celibate for 5 years since this last encounter with person A, it was opening and energizing aspects of me that needed to. My sexual energy had been shut down for 5 years, and I guess it was time to open that back up. So anyway, having a very brief encounter, which was very... the energy polarizes you when you're meant to have contact and connection with another human being. It does not have to be sexual or romantic or anything. I'm just saying that's how it was for me, because that's the trauma we're working with right now. for me, and maybe many others too. It's intimacy, vulnerability, wounds. Where was I going with that? Also, to learn how to get in touch with the deeper aspects of the depth of self, and live by the depth of self, or some call higher self, your true soul's essence, which is always okay no matter what circumstances you are in. It's the small self, or the shallow self, is the parts that are shadowy, that are needy and controlling, and can be manipulative or angry. These are the parts of your being that are not okay, but the ego will try to mask that over for you, and even hide that from you as a protection mechanism, so you can continue on with your life the way you have, only you can't, because you've already been awakened by the divine, and it's time to face a lot of things that you hadn't faced yet on your journey. So this is where we say surrender. It's important because the energy, it can't be destroyed. It's created, it is moving, it's always moving, and this is one of the reasons why it's hard to get a certain person out of your memory, out of your dreams, out of your energy field, is because you're trying to push it away and trying to get away from it, running away from it, or numbing away from what it was meant to show you within you. And for me, it was a multitude. I mean, I really would like to write a book one day. I could list many, many, many things that I would have never logically thought of that required immediate attention by me, and healing and love, a lot of self-love. So we're still working on stripping layers away from us. So this year, same month, same date, unbeknownst to me, there were some deeper aspects, and aspects that required self-love and awareness of those shallow aspects of myself. So I had an encounter with person B, which was completely different energy, but it was still magnetizing at the same. It's almost like there's parts of your brain that just kind of like shut down, like you can't control it. You just can't control it. And for somebody like me who has been in full control of, a very strong boundaries and barriers, when those get broken down, it can be quite scary for me. So anyway, person B, I had a very brief encounter with, and I instantly knew that it wasn't that it was the wrong person, but it was the wrong time, and that what was appealing to me was these were needy aspects of me. So there were a lot of compliments. You're really good at what you do, and like really interested in like the deeper aspects of me, until we became face to face, and then this person just decided to talk about themselves the whole time, and I listened. And then I divulged some things about myself that were deep. And anyway, long story short, I know that there was a psychic connection, that we were reading each other telepathically on a different level. So we knew it was a cosmic connection, and I surrendered to it, and I allowed it, and I allowed person B into my energy field, let's just say that. And but the next actually almost instantly I recognized it, and I shut down, and I did a pattern that I used to many years ago, before person A opened me up. Person A was the only person that I felt comfortable with physically and all of that, like ever. And I didn't realize that. So that opened something big in me. Person B, I began to, but I think that person B also was the same way. So we were attracted, but then we were also terrified of each other, but we couldn't help but get attracted to. And so I shut down. Like, I just shut down. And the next day, I know that this person was aware of that in some way, shape, or form, and I wanted to talk about it. And I know that this incident also really deeply triggered a lot of deep wounds in this other person, and he did not want to talk to me about it. Instead, he turned and verbally attacked me. Here's the thing. Verbally attacked me, and I knew that it wasn't even like, I knew there was something up, because everything that he said was very contradictory to things that he had said before. And there was like a whole nother character came out and just like lashed out. And I was quite taken aback at first, and quickly realized, it did bring out into me like, well, shut that down. Not going to engage in this any longer. But I did have some defense mechanisms that popped up briefly. I engaged a little bit, and then I was like, ooh, no. No, let that go. This is another learning. This is another chance for healing, deep healing. So as the last May, June, July, as the last 2 months went by, I just already gave some information out, but it doesn't matter. By accident. As the last months have gone by, I began having memories of different words that he had lashed out at me. And it was showing me some of my own negative self-talk still from a small sense of self, some really deep past wounds, some things that I needed to really let go. So I'm actually really grateful for having that experience too, because it just bounced it back onto me like, it was like the divine. This is what you need to release from yourself. Forget about what this person said, or like, don't even, like, that whole experience was meant for me to strip away the last remains of whatever was insecure, whatever was, putting myself down, guilt, shame that I may have been carrying still. And it's funny because I see how I verbally attacked person A and person B verbally attacked me. And I was like, oh, we're not going to play this game any longer. We're not going to. But thank you for awakening me to these parts of myself. And recently, this person's come back into my mind and my energy field. And I was like, okay, what did I miss? Asking source, and that's how we came about doing this video, because I didn't miss anything except that now it is time for me to share my wisdom, my knowledge that I've gained through having these experiences with person A and B. And also, I was very nervous. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. I was very nervous to do this, and I was asking the guides, I pulled a card for myself, and I got step out of your comfort zone. So anyway, I did have to get over some anger at myself for allowing myself to go through that again, but then I was quickly reminded that it needed to happen for myself to really release some things. And then I also had a lot of physical things that happened also after that. I got kidney stones. My physical body suddenly started to break down and shut down. And I'll also share, this is a little TMI, but for any of you that are working with energy and understanding the energy body, how everything affects everything. I'm 51, going on 52. I haven't had my menstrual cycle in 3 years. And suddenly after having this encounter, bam, I got my menstrual cycle the day before the summer solstice, or the solstice. And like, that's interesting. And it lasted for several days, and it was very heavy. And I was like, this is really interesting. Like, something in my sacral chakra in my body turned back on. So we are going through these waves and waves and waves of energy and highs and lows, and for any of you out there who have had these, and when we have these connections, they don't just affect us mentally, physically, and emotionally. They affect us energetically and cosmically. They are connected to the psychic senses. So it's almost like you can't even explain. Person A and person B are not my logical person that I would think that I would be even attracted to. No offense to them. It's just not what you would consider your type. However, the energy matches for however long it's meant to, until like this last time I only needed a little slap on the hand, and it's like, wake up, see this. And I really hope that both person A and person B. Now, person B I have not spoken to since. Person A I kept in touch with over the years, and knows that I've thanked him over and over again for saving my life. And even though we're not physically connected anymore, that will always be energetically connected, and that I do really have we both have shared that we hold a very special place in the heart for each other, like this unconditional cosmic love. So that is a beautiful thing, and that really releases all of the guilt and the shame and the blame and the projections and all of that stuff between the two. But I do see there's this whole thing on the internet and through YouTube, and I'm not knocking any of this, because everybody's journey is unique to themselves. And actually I fell into the rabbit hole of the twin flame connections. Not saying that does not exist, but some of what I've read and heard is like, oh, that's where you're going. Like it misses the mark of saying the reason why this person's energy, like you can't get them out of your head and your dreams and all this stuff, is because you're missing looking at an aspect of yourself that the energy will stay with you until you look at it, heal it, purge it, strip it away, let it go. And it can be really agonizing when you're unable to see, when you're still sort of in the mind too much. And I did spend a few years like that, like off and on. It would really mesmerize me and take me into this very strange place that I did not like. I felt like it was in this fog, or very in and out kind of energy, and it was just very frustrating. And for any of you who are on this part of the journey and having these experiences, it's intense. It's intense energy, because it's connected to it's connected to it's connected to source energy directly. These are very spiritual connections and soul contracts. I'll call it twin flame, sure. But the flame is inside each of us. We light that flame. It's just a resonance. It's as if you take two tuning, like there's a video out there. I really want to find it again. The guy has a tuning fork at a certain frequency here, and he's got this ball that's tied to it. It's not touching the fork, but it's like hanging over the side of it. He takes another tuning fork, a different frequency, strikes this one. This one doesn't do anything. So then he comes and gets the tuning fork that is the exact same frequency as this one, strikes this tuning fork, and the ball that's not even attached to this one begins to move. That is energy. That is manifestation. That is attraction. That is like attracts like. That is how our frequencies, it's like putting two magnets together. You can't not have them connect. So don't blame yourself. Also, don't blame the other person. It's really meant to show us deep things within us, and it's easier said than done to say, let the other person off the hook. Truly, our anger, our deep dark nastiness comes out at each other for many of us. But see that in you. Forget about what the other person's. It can get scary too, honestly. It's like, I thought I knew you kind of thing, but then it's like, did you know yourself? I think that's all I'm going to share right now, because it's intense. And I know that people are still having these experiences now, and I know that you can get stuck in them. And you can get stuck in that waiting for, he's, because I'm not laughing at anybody, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm laughing at myself, because I fell into that trap for a bit. My experience with person A, it awoken me to my deepest trauma, and it actually helped heal that, not fully, but helped heal a good part of that, and it opened me up to everything, like everything, all of my senses, psychic senses, all of that, and we were in tune and in line. And then it was almost as if over time, over a few months' time, this person kind of started to slip back into hypnosis and sleep, and I'm still elevating, and it's like, where did you go? And they're just like, they're not even the same person anymore. They're like blah, 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 blah. And it's like very frustrating and scary, and it brings out all of our neediness and our grasping and reaching and stuff then. So I see, like in these twin flame videos, the divine feminine is elevating and waiting for the divine masculine to awaken and come back to them and all of that. And like, on a spiritual sense, yes, not person to person, but masculine, feminine energy within one. Because we're only responsible for ourselves, and coming back into wholeness and completion within ourselves, and not waiting around for anybody else to wake back up, come back to you. That concept, it boggles the mind. And I'm not knocking it. It can be taken so many different ways, but I'm here to say that it is definitely, try to remove labels from this. Try to not allow your logical mind to try to make sense of this, because it won't. It will not. It is not logical. None of these experiences are logical. They are divinely orchestrated. They are already definitely set up. We're blueprinted for them. There are certain aspects in our birth chart and certain times. Like I said, person A was a very specific day and month. Person B came in 5 years later, the same day and month and day. That is, and then I hone in on my birth chart. Oh, that's the same day that my son was born. That's the same day. I mean, that's the same day. Like, that's my day. That is my day, okay? Apparently, for great awakening, spiritual awakening. We all have them. We all have specific points in time that are designed for us to lose complete faculties of ourselves, because there's going to be a magnetic pull and attraction towards something or someone. It does not necessarily have to be someone, but for all intents and purposes, I am talking about this cosmic connection, soul connection, soul. It can also be considered trauma bonding at the same time, but it's up to each, and there's free will. It's up to each and every single one of us to wake up to what is being triggered in us. The gifts are in the trigger. The answers are in the triggers. And so you got to take the other person off the table, out of the equation. They're going to come back into your head, because, and check with yourself, what specifically are they coming back into your mind about? Is it abandonment? Is it loneliness? Is it self-love? Because again, our hearts are opened, and our connection to the cosmos, to ourselves, to the earth, to everything deeply opens, and we're the ones that open it, though. It's within us, and we shut it back down when we're rejected or abandoned, and it's up to us to open it back up, not to wait for anybody on the planet to come and do that for you, because that will not ever be the case. They'll do it for you and then they'll turn around and bam, slam you with some of your deep trauma. So be careful what you wish for. It is an internal journey. It is all about self-love, self-awareness, and the more that you can evolve out of let go of the shallow parts of yourself and start to get in touch and live with the depths of you, the deeper aspects of your essence, your true soul essence, you won't be needing anybody or anything to, trust me, you'll attract it and have fun with it, enjoy it. But each and every one of us has our own lessons to learn here, and self-awareness is definitely number one, and what needs to be released and let go of. So I'm going to end this video here. This is like take number 5. So I hope I got everything out that I wanted to, because I've been running, I wanted to write about this or speak about this for so long. Actually, before even person B came in to, teach me, show me some things. And I guess it wasn't time yet because I didn't have that experience. But over the course of the last few months, it took me a little while, because there were a lot of nasty words and verbal attacks and things that were kind of that I had to really weed through and understand what the divine was showing me was within me. And it, it's not, you can't take the words that are projected to you at face value. It's unique. The answers are so unique to each and every one of us, but it's important to look deeper and look within yourself. I am sending you all out so much love. This is not easy. And the other mirror that we live through while we're going through this is that which has been taken away from us, or we have given away. So if it is a love connection or like a connection from the heart, most likely you're walking around life witnessing others just like holding hands and they're all happy, and that's not easy to live through when you're going through the healing part of getting in touch with yourself and losing out on that intimate connection with somebody. But anyway, I think that's all I want to share for right now. I hope this is helpful for many of you, any of you who are going through this right now and just asking, like, why can't I get this person out of my head? Why? That's why. And if you want to go more in depth, reach out to me. I can do a deep reading on you. I also have some coaching sessions that we can walk through in more in depth to your own personal journey. You can book those through my website, which is BeTheChange333.com. That information is in the description box below. I'm sending you guys out so much love. Take care. Bye.